Dear listener, this is a story about freedom and the price it asks, about a father who built wings from wax and dreams, and a son who flew too far, too fast, chasing the sky. This is not just a myth, it's a quiet tragedy, a moment between hope and gravity. Close your eyes, let the wind carry you. This is the story of Icarus and Daedalus. Long ago, on the island of Crete, stood a magnificent palace, rich in gold and marble, but darker beneath the surface. For underneath it, hidden from the eyes of the world, was a labyrinth. It was not just a maze of stone, but a prison, a trap, designed to hold a monster. In its center lived the Minotaur, half man, half bull, fed on young victims sent from Athens as tribute. The labyrinth was perfect, confusing, endless, impossible to escape, and it was built by one man, Daedalus. Daedalus was no ordinary builder. He was a craftsman, inventor, engineer, born in Athens, exiled by politics and jealousy. His mind was sharp, his hands precise. He could sculpt stone as if it breathed, bend wood like water, and draw plans for machines the world had never seen. That was why King Minos brought him to Crete. That was why Daedalus built the labyrinth. But knowledge is power, and power is always dangerous. After Theseus, the Athenian hero, killed the Minotaur and escaped with the help of Ariadne, and a single thread, a thread Daedalus had advised her to use, the king realized he had made a mistake. Daedalus had given someone a way out. That made him a threat. So Minos locked him away. Not just him, but also his son, Icarus. The boy was still young, barely a man. He had grown up in the glow of his father's work, among blueprints and tools, small mechanical birds and flying toys. Now he sat in a stone room, listening to the wind through a single narrow window. He didn't understand politics or betrayal or why freedom had been taken from them, but he trusted his father completely. Daedalus didn't weep, didn't plead. He observed, watched the birds overhead, studied the breeze. He waited and thought, and finally he spoke. "We can't escape by sea. The king controls the ships. We can't walk out. The soldiers will see us. But there is one place Minos cannot follow, the sky." They began collecting feathers, one by one, small, broken, forgotten bits left behind by birds. Wax was scraped and melted from old lamps. Straps and threads were taken from clothing, bedding, whatever they could use. Day after day, night after night, Daedalus worked. He built wings, real wings, crafted with care, layer by layer, feather by feather, balanced with leather straps and joints that could move with the arm. When they were ready, he sat Icarus down. "These will work," he said, "but you must listen. Fly with me, stay close. Don't go too low. The sea will weigh the feathers down, but don't go too high. The sun will melt the wax. Promise me, you'll stay beside me." Icarus nodded. He was excited. He trusted. At dawn, the sky was still pale, almost silver. The world was quiet, as if holding its breath. A soft wind moved across the sea, brushing the cliffs, whispering through the stones. That's when they stepped out. Daedalus checked the wings one last time. Straps tight, feathers aligned, wax still holding strong. He looked at Icarus, and for a moment he saw not a boy, but the man his son was becoming. And then, without ceremony, without words, they ran. Their feet left the ground, the wings filled with air, and they rose. At first, just above the courtyard, then above the walls, then higher, past rooftops, past towers, past the last shouts of guards who couldn't believe what they were seeing. The island of Crete shrank behind them, each flap of their wings taking them farther from stone and rule and memory. The air was cool, wild. The sea glittered below like broken glass. The wind held them, not gently, but firmly, as if recognizing the effort it had taken to get here. And they flew, not like birds, not like gods, like humans, fragile, deliberate, amazed. Icarus laughed. He couldn't help it. It was a sound Daedalus hadn't heard in weeks, maybe months. The boy tilted his wings, soared wide in a gentle arc, feeling the pull of air and speed. He circled his father, dancing in the sky, and for a time, Daedalus let him. For a time, everything was perfect. But wonder becomes hunger, and hunger forgets warnings. Icarus drifted ahead, then higher, then a little higher still. Daedalus shouted, not in panic but in fear. He called out through the wind, tried to steady his son with just his voice. But words are small things in open sky. Icarus didn't answer. The world had opened up before him. He wanted to see it all. He wanted to rise above the clouds. He wanted to touch the place where the blue turns to white. Below, the sea shimmered like glass. Above, the sun waited, unmoving, unforgiving. And then, warmth. At first, barely noticeable. Then, unmistakable. The wax began to soften. Icarus felt something shift. He looked down, one feather spiraling away in the air, then another. He tried to slow down, to angle back. But the balance was breaking. His arms grew lighter, and then useless. He beat them faster. Nothing. The wind no longer lifted him. It passed through him, and he fell. There was no scream, no final word. Only a quiet, a pause, as the sky released him. He looked up once, at the sun, at the space where he had just been, and then he was gone, swallowed by the sea. Daedalus landed far away, on a lonely shore. The wind was calmer there, the water slower. He waited, and the sea, with a gentleness he hadn't expected, returned his son. The body was still, the wings gone. Daedalus did not curse the gods, he did not cry. He stood in silence, heart hollow and full at the same time. Later, he built a small temple, hung the wings on the wall, and never flew again, because this story isn't about pride or punishment. It's about freedom, and how freedom always has a cost. It's about a boy who didn't understand limits, and a father who gave him the sky, knowing it might take him, because we were made for the ground. But our hearts, they will always reach for the sky.